Welcome to the discussion. We're diving into the intense dynamics of what might be another flashpoint in the Middle East. Israel, inching closer to a war with Iran, has been a topic buzzing around, and there's a lot to unpack here.
Absolutely, it's a heady mix of history, military capability, and political maneuvering, right?
Exactly. So, the
Yeah,
recent analysis puts the spotlight on the long standing tensions between Israel and Iran, a relationship that's been rocky for decades, fueled by disputes over nuclear ambitions and regional influence.
right. That conflict isn't a new story at all. There's deep history, eh? And the expert behind the analysis, Dr. David Oualaalou, really brings a weight of experience to the table with his US Armed Forces background and security insights.
Exactly. Dr. Walalu has um, spent over 15 years in the thick of security policy and intelligence analysis. So his perspective on these developments isn't just theoretical, it's rooted in real world experience.
So, given that background, what do you make of these arguments that Israel is edging dangerously close to conflict with Iran?
Well, the argument centers on how both nations have escalated their military posturing. There's a lot of talk about nuclear programs and regional domination, and the video suggests that we're not far from the tipping point. It's
Yep.
really about a volatile balance of power.
But isn't it also about how these power moves affect broader global stability? I mean, if these tensions explode, wouldn't that send shockwaves across the international order?
Absolutely. The potential implications are huge. It's like, imagine a line of dominoes. If one falls, many others might follow, drawing in allies and even rival powers. The video brilliantly explains how regional conflicts often have a global footprint. It's a
Right?
chain reaction.
And then there's the military capabilities aspect, right? Israel is known for its advanced military tech, but Iran, despite its challenges, has been building up its arsenal, especially with its focus on non conventional warfare tactics.
Exactly. It's like a high stakes chess game. Israel has precision and elite tech, but Iran's strategy leverages asymmetrical warfare and a willingness to ignite broader conflicts through proxy groups. And in wars like this, sometimes strategy wins over sheer might.
So, if we look at these military moves, could they actually push both sides into a direct conflict?
Well, the analysis indicates that deterrence might start to crumble when each side becomes so focused on preemptive measures. It's like you're in a race where every move is both a defense and an attack. The video really lays out the delicate balancing act each side is trying to perform.
But isn't there a possibility for diplomatic channels to diffuse this tension? I mean, war isn't inevitable if talks happen, right?
That's a good point. However, here's the challenge. The distrust is so deep that even diplomacy can sometimes be seen as a stalling tactic, a way to buy time rather than to resolve. It's like hiring a top tier architect to design a doghouse. Sure, you get the perfect design, but sometimes the cost in terms of time and resources isn't worth it if the dog's already causing havoc. It's a precarious situation.
Yeah, I see. And then the video dives further into how these tensions could lead to severe economic and regional impacts. That's sort of the ripple effect we get when big powers are at odds.
Absolutely. There's a detailed discussion about how sanctions, trade disruptions, and shifts in military alliances could emerge if conflict breaks out. When you have something like this, it's not just about the combatants, it's about global markets and political alliances shifting rapidly.
And that economic ripple could, in fact, affect almost every major power on the globe.
Exactly. The potential for a global economic domino effect is real. It's like any minor spark in the region could set off an
Yep.
inferno. And the analysis really underscores that point by showing past crises where regional conflicts led to worldwide economic instability.
And what about the internal impacts within Israel and Iran themselves? How might public sentiment or nationalist fervor play into this?
That's another layer entirely. In Israel, there's a robust sense of national defense, stemming from decades of conflict, and a perceived need for preemptive measures. On the Iranian side, given the political narrative at home, military posturing is also a way to rally domestic support. It's like both sides are balancing internal politics with external threats, which makes de escalation even tougher.
So, while international observers might hope for a peaceful resolution, internal pressures might push these countries farther apart instead?
Exactly. The two forces, domestic politics and international pressure, tug in opposing directions. It's like a tug of war where neither side is willing to let go, for fear that a concession might be interpreted as weakness.
But here's something I find interesting. There's always an argument that increased communication and modern diplomacy could avert the worst case scenario. Do you really see the possibility for a peaceful diplomatic breakthrough in such a charged atmosphere?
Honestly, while diplomatic channels do exist, the deep rooted mistrust and the sort of entrenched military postures make it extremely challenging. It's like trying to reassemble a shattered mirror. Pieces might come close, but the reflection will always
Yeah.
be distorted. That analogy fits.
And what about the role of other global players like the US or Russia? How might they factor into this equation?
They're absolutely critical to this mix. The US, for instance, maintains strong ties with Israel, while also having strategic interests in the broader Middle Eastern region. Russia, similarly, plays a balancing act with its own ambitions. Their involvement can either escalate tensions or serve as a counterbalance. Sometimes their actions can make or break a fragile peace.
So, in essence, this isn't just a bilateral issue. It's really like the epicenter from which multiple international pressures radiate outwards.
Exactly. This is what makes Middle Eastern geopolitics so complex. The interplay between regional rivalries and global power struggles creates a milieu where even a small incident could precipitate a larger conflict. It's a pressure cooker waiting for a spark.
And the economic implications of such a conflict could be severe too, right? I mean, aside from military losses, there could be significant trade disruptions and a surge in energy prices.
Right on point. Sanctions, oil supply disruptions, and the general instability could destabilize economies far beyond the region. It's not just a war of bullets and bombs, it's also a war that can reshape markets and industries globally.
And isn't that part of what makes these discussions so compelling and nerve-wracking at the same time?
Absolutely. Every statistic and every defensive maneuver has potential ramifications that ripple far beyond the battlefield. It's a humbling reminder of how interconnected our world is. It's
Yep.
also interlinked.
Looking at the broader picture, though, it seems that while a conflict is possible, it's not a given. There are numerous factors and potential catalysts that could either trigger or temper this escalation.
That's right. Despite the ominous nature of these tensions, there are always moments of opportunity for de escalation if global leaders manage to align their interests. But as of now, the trends suggest things are edging towards, if not a conflict, then at least a very precarious balance.
So, in summary, it's a dangerously balanced situation with deep historical, military, and economic implications, all saying that any misstep might lead to a much larger global crisis.
Precisely. And while some might argue that modern diplomacy could avert such a disaster, the myriad challenges on the ground tell a more complicated story. It's this tension between hope and the harsh realities of geopolitics that makes for such gripping yet concerning times.
You know, I do think this analysis might lean a bit on the worst case scenarios. I wonder if maybe there's a risk of over dramatizing the likelihood of war. It might be worth considering that the mechanisms of modern diplomacy have stepped up since the height of the Cold War.
That's a fair critique. I mean, history does show us moments when calm prevailed after tension, but then again, the odds are stacking up in favor of conflict if preventive measures aren't taken. It's like flipping a coin that's weighted more and more towards heads, but you never quite know when it'll land. There's always that bit of unpredictability.
Exactly. And that unpredictability is what keeps policymakers on high alert. The stakes, both in human terms and economic terms, are just too high.
So, until a significant diplomatic breakthrough occurs, we'll likely continue to see this tense nimbus hovering over the region. The analysis really drives home that point. Every military buildup, every sanction, and every political statement contributes to a complex puzzle that the global community needs to solve.
And it offers a stark reminder that while intelligence analysis can project trends, the human element, those split-second decisions by leaders, can always change the game.
True enough. It's a fascinating yet sobering mix of history, strategy, and the uncertainties of human decision-making on a global stage. Thanks for the engaging discussion.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot to process, but conversations like these help break down the complexities. Really makes you think, huh?
Absolutely. Thanks for staying tuned and for the thought provoking questions. Until our next deep dive, keep balancing hope with a healthy respect for the realities of geopolitics.